Clubhouse, and another one to get our teeth right into.
Yeah, I was really excited to see how it would play out if we did go to border again, but clearly the teams really want to be playing Clubhouse today. So I'm excited to see what ban changes we're going to see coming through. Capital being banned away by Vitality to kick things off. Looking again for that big site denial itself, getting in there with the asphyxiating bolts, just denying the opportunity for MnM to hold those more hard anchor positions. Maverick, a more standard expected ban, going to be taken away as well. It's either that or Thermite is the normal ones we see. In that last series, we did see a Thatcher ban come away, which surprised us all. So Maverick at least bringing some normality back to the fold from MnM. We'll see Mirror taken away, not too surprising there, and would fully expect that we see one of the more standard anchor bans being taken away as well. Echo or Maestro, one of the ones I'll put my money on, unless we see something a little bit crazy coming out of Vitality. Nope, going to be Echo being taken away, which leaves Maestro on the field.
Yeah, Echo is more of the operator that Vitality fear. I think they were the real trendsetters back whenever they were inside of Pro League for Season 8. They banned Echo nearly every single time they could because it fits into that playstyle that Vitality have in their attacks, which is very slow, methodical. Echo is a disruption operator. He can stop you going for the defuse at 0.00 seconds. That's why they go for that ban. Maestro sure can do that, but it is much more of a limited rate. You can only shoot out the laser bolts at a certain time and a certain speed, and for the most part doesn't even kill you anyway, because it usually gets destroyed before any of that happens. So overall, bans looking pretty common, pretty average. That Capital ban is a specific target ban for MnM. I know that they bring the Capital to stop the bandit trick happening for that top floor. So Vitality have done their research, they figured out what MnM like to do, but overall, MnM, they still have plenty of operators to choose from.
They do indeed, and you can see what they're rolling out with here. Looks like they were very much so set up for assaulting onto that top floor, but they are going to start things down in the dingy basement. That's where things are going to go for initially. You got that banner on side to be able to take out all of those reinforced hatches. You do have the Thermite and the Thatcher on side. Maybe not super optimal for this point unless you're going for a church wall take. That's what they're looking towards, which means it suggests you look towards Memorial or towards main stairs to find their way downstairs and start looking for their ingress on towards the site itself.
Overall for MnM, their clubhouse has actually been a very strong map, I think, for them. There's a lot of moments where MnM has looked very dominant, especially with some of their room clear-outs. We usually have big front runners. There has been a couple of operator changes in terms of attack. Doki has kind of took that astral away from saves, so he's been stuck to more of that flex kind of player on the team. In this case, he will be bringing that Habana, as Kendra still being that hard reacher that we know he excels into. So I wonder if Doki being in this action gives MnM just a little bit more ferocity, a little bit more explosiveness in terms of their room clear out. I would like to think so. You know, Doki still has a great shot on him. And I think that him on the Ash, with possibly safe supporting him as more of that droner can flash and try and get refrag on the Doki, could work wonders, because typically it used to be saves that main fragger, and Doki would kind of be that refragging operator.
Yeah, Saves has been one of these. I mean, last time around he was one of the top fraggers, walking away with 12 kills. The only member on his team to walk away with double digits. On the other side, there were 3 members nailing that in there for Vitality. Then look towards someone like Sneaky, who walked away the 0.75 cost as well. Interesting how things balanced out, because Kendra and Doki were 2 of the big players when it came to cost for MnM as well. Just couldn't quite net the same level of frags that we usually see. So there were a lot of trades coming through for MnM, but no real one-to-one wins when it came down to gunfights against the members of Vitality. But 1.5 minutes in, no one has gone down yet. It's been a very slow and steady game so far. MnM just trying to find the route they want to go for. So far, I haven't really identified it. Again, I thought they'd be looking towards main stairs, given they have the Thatcher and the Thermite on side. Right now, though, a lot of the focus from Doki is going in towards kitchen itself, just trying to find who might possibly be lurking downstairs. Just one opening pick to turn this into a 5 versus 4.
I think Doki, I think you can see the glimpse off him. No, just barely misses it. There is a player lurking underneath the drop hatch. At this stage, MnM is just trying to feel their way around and what is the kind of weakest bomb site they can try and attack. They haven't brought the buck or a sledge, so this, for the most part, this army will be intact, but they have left Doki as more of a bit of a flank watch. We know that that's a very common angle, is in the back of that army, where you can deny people going for that triple wall push, which is the option that MnM have went for. Qual still has to keep on his toes, as there is still players lurking in towards that blue area. Citizen gets things opened up onto Sneaky, but Sparks there for the refrag, and also finds 2 Kenroot balls. And Bandit playing massive in this scenario.
That's what you were looking for there. That was their point looking in. They've got rid of that Thermite now. He is off the board, which means a lot of that viability is there. And kills traded back and forth. Constant trades coming back. In fact, trading kills out there between the 2 of them. Makes this a very even round between the two sides so far. Now down to the point where it's a 2 versus 2. Nello finding one onto Bibu. Now you're looking towards potentially a big hole coming through. That smoke is still on side as well. I'm not sure if he has any left. Not that it matters because we are into the final one, and Vitality will take round 1 against MnM.
So Vitality, they do the dirty work that they need to do. I don't understand how the players of MnM have allowed Spark to do what he's just done. And that's play very aggressive on that triple wall. We typically see Smoke excel in that scenario, but that's because he's a shotgun, never really the Bandit. Typically we see Bandits kind of scurry away from that scenario. But I think the main issue I kind of had there from the players of MnM was that they didn't really drone out that bomb as much as they should have. Sure, we've seen Citizen go for that aggressive pick, but he should have at least known someone else was to his right. So that just proves that there was no droning coming in from MnM, which was a big thing which has let them down, I believe, 2 weeks ago. Whenever they played against Ghost Skeleton and also Extreme, they said the reason why we lost was because of our main droning. So overall, I think for MnM, there was another option he could have taken there, and that was actually go upstairs and open the corridor where you can actually see a line of sight right down into where Spark was playing. So there is options there that they could have thought about. Doki could still have used another breaching round for himself. In hindsight, is what it is. But overall, still sloppiness from MnM, which they need to stamp out quick against a team like Vitality, who will absolutely dominate you if you start giving them options to go with.
Well, heading back up to CCTV, well, back up, I should say. For the first time, we are heading up to CCTV and Cash. So imagine we'll see MnM go for a very standard sort of assault looking onto this eastern wall. Pretty much the go-to accepted strat at this point is you get that open to some degree. No, Maverick, of course, being banned away means that it isn't a case of just getting a couple of holes open. You've got to blow the whole thing up if you want to find a way in, and they have the Thatcher to make that more than possible.
So looking at the way Qual has kind of been playing this matchup so far, he looks to be going for that kind of aggressive roam game. They know that MnM, they like to try and pressure in towards up blue stairs. Their main option is always open up the wall, take control of that garage, and then they go for the plant. That's as simple as really you can play Clubhouse. Bibu will be going for that bandit trick, and Kendry will attempt to go for it. And again, look, Bibu getting hit quite hard by a lot of stuff there. That utility coming in from that Sophia. And also Nello has that little cheeky claymore that, again, some people do get cut out by, and that's actually putting a claymore at the drone hole that is beside that little entranceway in towards that server room. And he does manage to catch Sneaky by surprise. It's a massive kill in the early game, because that's Legion. He can no longer try and gain intel from those goo mines, and also try and slow down the push as much as he can, because if it comes down to that 0-second mark and you're trying to go for a plant and you're stuck with a goo mine, you can no longer go for the plant. You will have to take out that needle.
In case what it actually turns into in kills. We have that one-man advantage, at least for now, going over to MnM's side. Looking off towards the eastern balcony itself, poured through. Of course, it gives you that complete cut-off as well, where Cash is not really a safe place to be anymore. You're stuck inside garage, or you're stuck on the other side entirely. Don't really have the point of the pick unless you dare risk going downstairs and rotating across the whole map to come back up those gym stairs. So otherwise, MnM have at least the capability of splitting this defense in half. They're already a man down. So on their side here, this is where they can start looking towards it. But you can see that Maestro is still playing inside garage as well. Is the only one in there. He seems pretty comfortable for now, not really under any great threat. Although Jaeger creaching around down bottom, sorry, should be enough for them. Nello's going to find one, but immediately traded back. Doki goes down two. But it's actually a case of actually getting able to point himself and getting a plan down, because MnM are starting to lose members. Nello going very, very low there, but not quite going down in its entirety. Maestro picked up in garage, so now garage is completely empty, and MnM should be aware of this as well and can start pushing in from that angle if they want the cross point.
Fuse will start to be initiated. However, the smoke doesn't actually land, but those bullets will from Bibi as he swings on round. Poor coverage from Citizen. And Bibi also finds yet again another kill for himself, a 1 versus 3. This came crashing down for the players of MnM, as this should be an easy lockout for Vitality. Brid, Bibi, and Qual all still alive. And Citizen can't even find one of those as Brid cleans up house. And well, MnM, they take a very early deficit for themselves.
Kendrick, I understand you wanted to get the plant down there because it was probably one of your best opportunities to do it whilst the members of Vitality were a little bit further back. The problem is that Kendry stuck it out throughout the whole of that smoke canister while it was going off onto him. Yes, he got the plant down, but died for it immediately after. I would much rather him have backed away for a second, just taking a bit of stock and get some drones in there if they really want to, find out where they're pushing from, and go for another attack again. It's like when you're assaulting onto the downstairs of bank, for example. You just keep on going and keep on persisting until they run out of utility to throw at you, then you can go for your play. So got punished there for being potentially a bit greedy on the first time round. They do drop the round, that means 2 to Vitality to kick things off. And already, Demo, I fear it's going the same way potentially as the last time round these two teams played.
It's early days, you know. It is
it's very
defense for Clubhouse. It's only 2 rounds. We've seen teams pull this back, not an issue. There is nothing stopping MnM pulling 4 rounds on the trot. That's the way it is. Momentum in Siege is terrifying, and for MnM, who are literally a team that excel with momentum, it's incredible.
And I think that's something that's often underrated in Siege, is the momentum piece. And I think the other word we speak about a lot is consistency, is that each week you will have different players stepping up and kind of bearing the rest of the team on their shoulders and saying, come on, boys, I'll pull you over the finish line. But consistency is a big one. I just need to see from MnM, I think a little bit, again, just in situations like that where the pressure is on, don't go sacrificing the member just for the sake of a plan. Because they lost 2 members in such quick succession there that what was initially a 5 versus 4 advantage got turned into a 4 versus 2. And they had no response off the back of it.
Looking at kind of MnM and how they're kind of playing this, they've tried to go by the book, but their droning and their refrag potential hasn't really been here. We've seen very big deficits for the most part in terms of how MnM have kind of went about their attacks. They need to be there with their refrags. They need to be trading out these kills. They haven't done that. Vitality have been able to get that 2-man advantage. It leaves then a 3 versus 5, which is not an easy thing to do whenever you're then, as an attacker, worrying about 5 potential different angles to try and challenge from. Talking about challenging, Doki may be looking to try and get a frag for himself in towards these windows, and quite similar to how I think we kind of seen Supremacy play out, where this scenario it was alive, trying to play aggressive on the windows. Nikki has decided to pick up the Alibi. An operator that we don't see at all inside of competitive play, but we kind of have started to see a bit of an uprise in terms of that operator. Not so much really for the gadget, but I think the gun brings a lot to the table. It's a very solid gun. I know Citizen from MnM, he's a big fan of that operator. He's a big MX4 Storm fan, even plays it with the suppressor. Don't know why he plays it with a suppressor, he just does. And because he played it with a suppressor, I started playing that gun with a suppressor, and I really like it. I don't know what it is.
Just something about the blissful silence as people die just makes people happy. That's all it is.
Strange.
All I know is that you guys are basically psychopaths, and that's all I can say about that one.
Wow.
But I think a lot of it is going down to the gadget as well, in the case that you can hold windows like that, and if someone does go for the push, they get punished for it pretty much straight away. However, MnM already losing their first member here as well, finding a second onto that one as well. Nello and Kendry both removed off the board. Looks like this round is going very much so the same way as the last couple have as well. Great C4 comes through onto saves. And now into a 5 versus 2. Doki and Citizen are just sat there like, well, what do now, goes? Where do we go? What happened? Everything's just falling apart. Every time they go for a push, there's an instant bite back coming out of Vitality. And they are finding no room, no mercy being shown by the French boys. Citizen, the last one that's alive here, can try and get himself up, but I'm pretty sure he's going to go down when someone comes running around this corner. Maybe not. A bit more safety being shown by them, but still with 40 seconds remaining, no diffuser in his hands. It is only off to the right-hand side, but the chances of getting onto a point from here, Demo, are incredibly low.
Well, Citizen, who do you want to let yourself kill? Like, who wants to have a go at Citizen? Do you want Bibby to kill you? Or maybe Brid? Maybe you should give him a kill. Or maybe you might try and kill him, but even if he does get 1 kill for himself, it's going to be impactless at the end. This is a total domination round for the players of Team Vitality. And well, Citizen will fall, and that's a free sweep. The players of Vitality against MnM, not what we were expecting at all. So there is a part of me which starts to worry for MnM that they're playing it too simple. They're doing it so basic. Team Vitality, I'm sure, has probably studied MnM. This is how MnM play them at. You know, there's nothing special. It's very standard. They try and do the same thing over and over again. There's only one team that I have ever seen inside of competitive play that has done the exact same push over and over again, and it has worked every single time, and that's Team Empire. But they're on a completely different level of nearly every single team they play against. For MnM, they need to change something up. They're playing it too safe. Honestly, if you're playing against Team Vitality, you know their playstyle. Slow, methodical, they try and control the round from start to finish. There's operators there which really do upset the defense from Vitality. Ones that come to mind. Montagna, a shield operator. That's going to cause problems. Glass can cause problems. Ying can cause problems. Operators that give a massive impact to a round immediately works a charm against a team like Vitality, because it means Team Vitality have to adapt, and adapt quick. There's certain teams which can adapt just like speed of light, but then there's teams that kind of take a while to figure out, maybe take some 1 or 2 kills to actually get things going. I would love to see a completely different operator lineup, because one, any research that Vitality have done against MnM, that's out the window. That doesn't matter if MnM are not playing by the book anymore. And two, Ying, Montagna, and Glaz are all in a very strong spot for Clubhouse.
Where I will give something over to MnM is that they have been very good at going for trades. Where they have lost members, especially in the first couple of rounds, we did see them getting a lot of trade kills back onto Vitality. That really fell off in the last round, so although the credit was given, last round, it still wasn't really there. It was just a super dominant round by Vitality, with MnM only finding the 1 single kill. So I want to see them at least keep that, or retain that element from those first 2 rounds, but add some more things in, like you say, Demo, just to try and fix these issues, because 3 rounds on the bounce, that ain't pure luck or just losing gunfights. That's just being outclassed in most ways by Vitality.
So he'll try and get things on the board and try and look for an early frag for himself. As, of course, this is going to be a church. They're trying to play it by the book, like we've talked about. Try and sweep from top to bottom. But there we go. Another first blood being given away by MnM. Citizen. This is Citizen. This is the guy that we bigged up so much, Des. Where is he?
It's a quiet day. And before LAN Final, when it was mainly looking towards Kendra and Doki to be the big players for the team, my biggest criticism I levied against MnM was they don't have enough big standout performers. They don't have players who consistently are up there, top of the leaderboards, being the big player the team needs and fragging out. When 1 or 2 of their players go too quiet, the team didn't really have anything to offer. And in this case, Kendra's not really stepping up. Doki's not really stepping up. He's spent more time just actually clearing windows than he has actually shooting people. And Citizen is very quiet as well. So the big question then comes, who's going to stand up and bring the fight to Vitality? Because right now, they're 3-0 up. They're the ones winning all the fights. No one is able to contest that. And that is their biggest weakness right now.
Well, I mean, we can argue that because there is certain teams which need a standout player. Every single team at least needs somebody dropping double frags. It's very rare that we see all 5 players consistently put in kills.
No,
for example, Team Secret. If Leon isn't turning up, who is? For Team Reciprocity, if Laxton isn't turning up, who is? We find this over and over again. For MnM, I kind of feel as if they're in that same position. If Doki or Citizen isn't popping off, they do start to struggle.
That's where I have some concern. And today, the answer is, well, when neither of them are, like you just said, then this is the situation they find themselves in. We're now trying to find their way with a very aggressive push in on towards everything, really. I don't know why they were just kind of slow walking their way around there, straight over barbed wire. It just gives you where you are, total positioning. Every angle's being closed down. Once again into a 1 versus 4, and this time round, it's the Shark himself as the last man standing. If he has enough bite to bring down 4 members, well, he has enough bite to bring down 1 through the wall, which is a great start. There is still 1 more waiting there, and he might make the same mistake here, potentially, is what Doki does, but no, finds a second. Can he keep on going all the way, though, mind you? Still a tough spot, has a lot of health to work with, so definitely isn't the end of the world. Only 15 seconds to go, doesn't have the diffuser, though. This is going to be rough. Potentially going to walk himself around this corner here, straight into the arms of the waiting Vitality member. Almost looks the wrong way. They are waiting and waiting for him. The crossfire is there. Walks into it, and Spark will bring down Nello.
For MnM, I feel as if they're starting to lose their mentality. They're a team which... I hate to say it, but whenever stuff goes wrong, there is certain players who do start to have a go at each other. That's not really what you want. We have seen certain players and certain teams affect the teams they play on quite heavily with that mentality. I feel as if MnM start getting off to a very bad run, they may lose their heads a little bit, but that's down to their entire team management and their psychological warfare that they're having within their own team. I know that Gig, the coach of MnM, he's very strong at doing that. He knows how to calm the team in, and I'm sure that he's probably sitting right now trying to talk them through it, telling them, do not panic. That, you know, we're not in the deep end just yet. We're getting there, but not yet. There's still potential here. But Vitality, flying high. They have all the momentum. They have literally told MnM where to go, and they have put in their players to stop that from happening. They've literally... I don't even know how to explain it, that Vitality have been so dominant that MnM have just fell into everything Vitality have put up. There's
a case of what can MnM change, because every single round so far, not a whole lot has changed. They're still playing that slow game, which Vitality just love to play into. And you saw last round, they basically blindly walked themselves inside a church. Doki trying to peek around the corner towards Black Box got immediately brought down as soon as he dared to even look the wrong way. Vitality, I don't know if Vitality so much forcing the mistakes out of MnM, or if MnM just aren't playing the same style that we're used to, the more intelligent style, the one where they're getting crossfire set up as well, where they are willing to play aggressive and Doki's willing to pop off. Because right now, again, no one on the team is doing that.
MnM will start to attack this cash room once again. They have had one operator change, and that is having Doki on a sledge rather than the Ash. So they've sacked off that R4C entirely. And this is, I think, this is Doki's favorite operator, who loves sledge, up there with Doc. Well, Doc is his all-time favorite operator in the game, but in terms of attack, his favorite is sledge. We've seen him play this more than any other operator that is inside of his operator pool. And MnM will begin to get open the wall. They haven't brought the Maverick, which is a bit of a strange one for me, and especially if they're not also bringing that Ash to get rid of the bandit from below, which is what we've seen them do last time. However, that will be both thermite charges gone. This is rookie stuff. It's not even a bandit, it's the Kaid. It's not even the bandit.
It's communication, which I think is hurting them the most there. Like, both times, they mistimed either what was going on with the Thatcher, they mistimed the Zofia. Everything was just off and nothing really worked out for them, but you are absolutely right. The fact that it was the Kaid threw them off, I think, because with that Zofia, of course, you're trying to get the stun to the bandit so you can't get the gadget down and you can get that wall open. That doesn't count for anything if he isn't stood near the wall itself, because Kai could have stand a bit further back. Speaking of standing further back, being a little bit maybe too ignorant of what's actually going on towards Jim and bedroom there, because gets tagged across by Noda from across the way. And I think for the first time so far in this match, we are seeing MnM ahead on kills, even if it's only one and it's the opening kill of the round.
It's so simple to get rid of those Electroclaws. All you do is you place them for a might charge, and then you Thatcher. The Electroclaw does not have enough time up to eliminate a thermite charge before a Thatcher grenade goes off. This is simple stuff. This is rookie mistakes that MnM are making, and Vitality are taking full advantage of it. Nello also finds Sneaky for himself, so it does give them something, but of course it's a 3 versus 5 and all the control is still with Vitality. Sure, they are down numbers, but it basically means that the players of MnM have to run through a single doorway, and that's going to be a complete chokehold for a player like Spark, who has that LMG. It comes down to this fight. If Spark managed to win this against Kendry, Vitality should have a lockout. If Kendry wins this, then we should see a complete storm from the players of MnM. Nello tries to go for the defuse, but the support is there alongside Kendry as Spark will be downed, and Qual also gets eliminated. So MnM, they've made it work for what they have done, but still, not what we are expecting at all, Des, are we?
I mean, I won't lie, based on how the last 4 rounds have gone, I didn't expect MnM to walk away with a clean sweep, bringing down all 5 members of Supremacy without dropping a single one. So fair play for that. Although, that was, I think, Supremacy ignoring what was going on towards Gym and Bedroom. We saw 3 members stacked up on that angle, and they were looking elsewhere. They were looking towards trying to remove the soft wall that you still had above the reinforced walls, and got tagged out for it, quite rightly so. After the failed push came through onto the wall, I think they thought, oh, okay, well, they're all stacked around there right now. There's no way they've got 3 members playing inside construction. Surprise, surprise, there are 3 members inside construction. And that, once you got the numbers advantage for MnM, gave them that advantage to start getting their positions on board, worrying less about how many angles are being held, because, of course, even though it's 1 man down, that's still 20% of your watch capability removed as a team, and we're more than happy to go for the frags from there, and, well, rightly so, got rewarded for it. We're just very surprised to see Vitality not walking away with a single kill, and I've got to say, this is a rare sight. Nello, the one sat at the top of the kill feed, but look at the rest. Doki, Kendry, Saves, all sat on just 1 frag each. In what world do we see Doki on 1 frag after 5 rounds?
I just think it's in terms of their droning. I haven't really seen much droning from MnM at all. They've been playing it so risky at all. For Team Vitality, they did kind of let it slip a little bit there. I think that's just them getting carried away. Sure, they executed their Kai trucking very, very well. And also another interesting operator for Vitality that they're bringing is going to be Brid on the mute. And whenever MnM haven't really been doing that much droning for Team Vitality, it feels a bit strange to me that Team Vitality are then going to bring the mute. There's been no Dokkaebi choice as well from MnM. Sure, maybe they just want to have that bit of security if there is a Dokkaebi chosen on the off chance in a potential 6th pick. We know that Dokkaebi is a very strong operator in terms of what she brings, which is that disruption of an enemy team off-site roam game. But overall, I think Vitality, they've chosen the right operators to get it working. Sneaky still on that alibi, even though he hasn't got a kill yet. But he's still going to be playing it nonetheless.
About that intel they have on side, you know full well there is a war to be had around this West world now that they're playing off towards this side. You can see Spark quite aptly playing on the Bandit here as well. Just sat waiting, daring almost to try and get this open. They do have that mute in place, so I think maybe they're thinking here, well, surely in this case, but they've only got to worry about that. Oh, the Bandit is sat ready and waiting, just being very wary of what explosives might be raining their way anytime soon. You can see MnM is spread out towards the southwest side of this map as well. That's where all their focus is going. So for Vitality, it's how long they can keep them out for, how much time and utility they can waste for MnM to try and find their way in.
That will be a good execution of getting rid of that Bandit from playing behind that deployable shield, quite similar to what we've seen last matchup between Pact and Supremacy. So that cheeky little Bandit trick that Vitality tried to go for does not work out. I'm quite surprised that they didn't also bring up the Kai. Why not bring both? You know, really make MnM work for it. We've seen them struggle with it before. Kendry looking to get aggressive, and it pays off for him as Spark will fall, and that gives him bathroom control. This is the main point that separates both of the bomb sites, and if the attackers have it in control, then B bomb site is pretty much a clear freebie for the players on MnM.
Should not be losing fights like that as well. The Bandit holding that hard angle on the wall as well. They even reinforced it up and put the Bandit trap onto it as well. They just wanted to make sure there was no way it could be breached through. And he very easily loses that head-to-head by looking in the wrong place. But the kills now trading back and forth. 2 kills come over to Vitality and turn this into a 3 versus 3. Kendra acknowledges, well, this place is mine and no one's really contesting me right now. It's time to get that diffuser and start looking for the site plant. They can choose to go either way they want. But they do need to be very aware that there are a couple of members lurking here off towards the south-hand side. Even got Sneaky looking towards this hatch up here, but Kendra has got him very safely. Diffuser is going down. Now it's how they can respond and adapt. Just with his back inside B. Now they can hold these windows all they like, and this will be a very, very tough retake for the side of Vitality, unless they can wipe everyone out right here and now.
Well, we'll get one back for themselves, and this does put them in a very strong clutchable position. Kendry takes the gunfight, finds one, but Sneaky's there for the refrag and saves on such low HP. This will come down to the Polish player. Defuse will try and start it. Saves, finds the head of Sneaky as it comes to Save versus Qual. Saves, we know, is on the other end of the stick as he has such low health. The ties come in, misses the shots with a bearing, but does make up for it. Wall falls. MnM, by the skin of their teeth, managed to pull it out of the bag. And that has gave them a little bit of shining hope in the darkness.
Gotta give that whole thing over to Kendry, though. Getting inside, getting that kill onto Sparky, taking over control of Bathroom, like you say, was the big change there as well. Because once they had that, it was so difficult for Vitality to rotate into B and to be able to defend it from MnM when they came in with that plan. Even they did manage to rotate in. Yes, it came down to a 1 versus 1, but Kendry finding that 2k was more than enough for his team to have the grounds to work from. Question is now, can they repeat that going into the next few rounds? It's still 4-2. We are going to see things swap over. Let's see how MnM fare when it comes to their defensive rounds. 2 more rounds left for Vitality, and they at the very least guarantee themselves a draw and continue on their undefeated streak.
For Vitality, this is where they start to excel in their particular playstyle. They're known as that slow, methodical attacking team. Well, they were known as that, but since then they have had a little bit of tweak in terms of their playstyle. It still sticks to that same bare bones, but they've added a little bit more depth and flesh onto the entire structure of their attacks. They have a little bit more aggression. It's not that same team who would wait until the final dying second of the round. You know, I've seen rounds, I think, if anyone's remember that certain photo, where it was, I believe it was a map on Border, and they were playing inside of the French Cup. The diffuser was being planted at 0 seconds. Nobody had died yet inside of the round. And the tagline was just, guess what team this is.
Tells you more than enough. Well, let's see how... I mean, they've got 6 rounds potentially to go. Well, maybe even less, depending on how well they can perform. But if they do get into the spot where it's slow and methodical, it's purely going to come down to who wins out those gunfights, I think. How much they can split MnM in half, how much they can isolate members, and how much they can go for trades if they have to, or just flat out pick them off. Because a lot of the gunfights on this map so far have literally come down to Vitality just being the ones there first to beat the punch. That changed a lot when Kendry still managed to get around the corner and find the angle on Spark, sat around the corner. Outside of that, I would give most of those trades that we've seen come through over to the side of Vitality, and that's why they find themselves in this advantageous position that they're in right now.
Looking at Vitality, they are bringing a very formidable lineup. They have a good mix of hard breach as they're bringing both of them, which we know is always going to be the play. Having both Habana and Thermite, it just kind of gives Vitality more options on what pushes you want to go for. Clubhouse is a very unique map where there is multiple ways you can go for your particular attacks. However, MnM may try and disrupt that as they have decided to bring up that kite and go for that trick on that Memorial drop hatch. If they manage to trick this Memorial, this will give MnM more control in what happens over towards that A bomb site. However, the trick will not be in effect, as that's Vitality showing MnM how you actually stop a Kaid.
It does. It costs more in terms of investment. You have to throw in double, but it still works out wonders for them with the double Thatcher nades coming those through. There's no way that Kai can respond because it won't charge up in time. We'll always pretty much guarantee to be able to get rid of that Kai charge and have no chance of being able to shut down those explosives. But Vitality, like you say, playing it slow. We're 2 minutes in and they've only just about finished opening up most of those hatches. I'm very curious to see how fast they pull the trigger now and how quickly they go for a push now that we're into these dying seconds. And it's going to start with Bibu starting to look down and towards main stairway. Going to try and get this wall opening towards church itself. That could be where they try and look to go for this plan.
Bibu is going to be using some of those X-Kairoses, but one of them will actually be impact tricked. Quite a unique tactic from MnM to go for that, but it has disabled some utility from Bibu, but he still had the other two sets ready to go, and he does find saves through one of those holes. That was good, I think, from Vitality, being able to establish the fact that triple wall is a big opening for themselves to try and really pressure a lot of the players of MnM into a crossfire they do not want to be into.
Doki
spraying, as that will be Qual getting finished off before Sneaky gets the refrag, and Bread already inside the bomb site finds Kendra as he tried to escape. And well, Team Vitality with a very clinical round for themselves. Eliminate MnM.
In the last match or last series, we turned around and said for Supremacy that they were constantly flip-flopping between fast and aggressive and between more slow and defensive. Vitality have just shown in one round that they can execute both styles ridiculously well. Those first 2 minutes, not a single bullet fired. Everything was very slow. They were getting the intel. You saw the drones playing inside Armory. They had all the hatches open. They found themselves getting into the more ideal positions. And yes, they tried to get those Habana pellets down onto the church wall. Couldn't quite get it open, but they didn't really care too much because all it came down to was finding those kills. And like I said earlier on, they're more than happy to go for those more aggressive fights. That's the sort of thing that Kendrew did in the final round of MnM's attack. And it worked out wonders for them. So I want to see more of that. I want to see both teams being more willing to push and go aggressive. For MnM, that's how they find themselves back into this game, I think. Because right now, Vitality are being allowed to do realistically whatever it is that they want to.
They have had full control of this match since the first kill. They have been able to do everything they've wanted to do in the order they've wanted to. MnM have not tried to disrupt Vitality in any way. They tried to go for the Kaid. Like we said, it's easy enough to get rid of the Kaid trick. You just simply throw your EMP grenade, you go for the Thermite, job done. There's no arguing with the way that works. That's what MnM did not do on their defense, and that's why they arguably lost that round to Team Vitality. MnM, they will... For MnM, I think that they need to try and take it to Vitality. They need to try and get that first blood. If they've been on the back foot nearly every single time they've played, apart from the only 2 rounds that they did win, where they did manage to get that opening kill. This is a trend which is kind of followed through a lot more recently, is a team who gets first blood usually wins that round. It's a bit of a weird one, but it does happen.
At least initially. A slower start, you might say. I like this isn't out there trying to cause havoc, though. Said literally at the end of that last round, aggression will be the name of the game for either side to pull ahead. And I think trying to threaten Vitality on their way in, so not so much an extended hold, but pushing off site itself and being willing to contest them as they try and push it somewhere a bit deeper, that would be the way in for MnM. The way to upset the plan they've got in mind, because I've said already a few times, they keep on giving them all this room to operate however they want. Yeah, sure, you guys can open up those hatches uncontested. The most contestation we saw come through was the Kai trying to go through with those electric charges, but double Thatcher nades sorted into those really, really quickly. That was the only fight that they've offered up until the final few seconds of the round when all the kills traded back and forth. And I think you can't leave it until that stage because Vitality are so comfortable in those higher pressure situations.
Another interesting play from MnM is that they have decided to leave that Armory run-in wall soft. that does allow Qual to simply open that up, and that's another entranceway for the players of Vitality to get into the bomb site. I wonder if this is a tactic that MnM have went for, and that they're kind of trying to bait the players of Vitality into that run-in. Is this something that they've kind of have in step, saying, we've left it soft, but for a reason, want you to run in so you can get shredded by that LMG sitting in the back corner. This is something that could be a strategy for MnM. If Vitality take the bait, well, then that could be a massive pull for the players of MnM. However, Vitality not taking it at the moment. They're still hard strong and going for that triple wall, which we know they're used to. This is what they did last time. They opened it up. They used as much utility as they could. And really for Vitality, they're only using the utility that they need to use, which I think just kind of shows their playstyle entirely.
You see just how defensive are playing. They're gathering 3 members around by that church wall. One watching blue, one watching tunnels. They just don't know realistically where Vitality are going to come from, but they're placing their bets on that wall. They would be correct, as that we are seeing quite a few members starting to gather up. Would like to see them punish this hot drop again if they choose to go for it into MnM. And the fact they've got one line down on the far side, but they see the legs. Still tucked away behind the corner. Again, one of the first things we're going to see is going into the final 20 seconds. All 10 members left alive. This is going to be a very explosive end coming out of Vitality here, Demo.
Yeah, this is Vitality in its entirety. However, quick kills come in. Nello whips out the shotgun and blasts Qual into next week, along with Braid Kendrew as well, with his own shotgun. Fine, sneaky, and it's down to Bibu. What a retake. That's why they open up the armory, to give themselves another rotate. Sneaky mind games from MnM. And well, what a round from the smoke.
Can't ignore the shark. He is there and he will bite as soon as you descend into his piranha pit, needless to say. Good round from MnM, like you say. Vitality, actually, I think leaving that a little bit too late. I got the idea. Crash into point, everyone gets themselves in onto the site itself, plant in the back corner, sit and defend inside of Armory whilst everyone else was worrying about what was going on inside of Church. What I think they didn't realise was that members had already started rotating away. They realised that with 20 seconds remaining, they're either going to go for a push straight into Memorial and go for a push onto Church itself, or they'd rotate around and go for another drop. So good identification by MnM there, good presence of mind to rotate around and match them as they came for the drop in, not giving them enough time to get themselves set up and feel comfortable downstairs on that site.
What does give MnM something to work with. Nello, quite surprisingly, being that top fragger, but he did have an excellent defensive win for himself. For MnM on this particular bomb site, they kind of gave... Well, I haven't even played this bomb site, to be honest. They haven't done it yet. But I think for what I've seen in the past for the players of MnM, is that they kind of gave the players... whoever they've played, much more room to work with, because they're trying to play very heavily along with those C4s.
All about the intel. Kinda gotta say, making a lot of appearance on these downstairs sides especially. Of course, now we're upstairs, things may change a little bit. But why so do you think more bringing him upstairs? It's more so for that long-range kind of assault onto the wall. When we see the eastern wall starting to get breached, the Kai's there as the kind of backup piece. But in which case, why are you bringing the bandit as well?
Let me just comment on saves. Don't really know what he was doing. I question the fact that even Qual did that surprises me. But yeah, coming back to your point about the whole why are they bringing Kai? I just think it because it gives them much more access to deny the way Vitality want to play, and this is why I come back to that disruption. Vitality, they want to open up the wall. They want to try and push in as hard as they can, because that's their playstyle. Open up the wall, try and get some picks, push in for the plant at 0 seconds, plant the diffuser, win the round. That is Vitality and their checkbook. If they try and disrupt that, and the fact that only one hard breacher is being brung by Vitality, then that just allows them to disrupt it even more so than what they already did have.
It does provide a lot of risk, but I think in their case, they're thinking, well, we really want the Zofia on side here as well. We see it an awful lot when it comes to trying to push in through that wall. The buck you want to bring, just so at least you've got the capability to start tearing things apart if you really want to. That's really what you're looking potentially to drop out for the Hibana in this case as well. And like you, I think I'm quite surprised that there's no double hard breach. I would have liked to have seen that come through, especially from when it comes to trying to assault onto this western wall. But right now, they seem pretty content just to sit and wait. You can even see Bivu here on the Nomad just hanging around downstairs, waiting for someone to dare try and push in towards Lounge. And he'll be right, because someone is going to run that way. It'll be Kendrew on his way through for the bar after finding one of those first kills.
Kendrew does make the risky play. But now they know that he is going to be off-site and no longer has a C4, as they probably did hear that go off earlier in the round. So they don't really have to worry about holding below, because there isn't any nitro cells available for MnM. That whole tactic that we know they like to play, not going to be working for them. They have to now play with their guns only. Citizen and Ella will be the two remaining players still in the bomb site, and Kendrew playing in towards that bedroom, maybe looking to deny access to any of that construction. But if we know Vitality, they will only push from one way and try and flood the bomb site. They have control of the garage and that catwalk. That creates the crossfire that they need to cover that single door into cash. Spark will have to try and cover Brid, as I'm sure he will inevitably try and go for the fuse, with Bibby also covering that other run-in from the doorway leading towards that staircase. So Vitality have all the tools needed to make this push successful.
Looking towards pretty much all three members being gathered around that western wall as well. You saw that they have one plane downstairs inside a stop, but here come the kills starting to rain through. Vitality find one, traded back by Nello. Trades below is galore, sorry, it's always the name of the game, it feels like. Citizen goes down as well, one is left standing, it's only Nello. Bibu does not make the same mistake twice, he brings down the Croatian Shark, and that puts us into a spot where Vitality find themselves one round away from taking this victory over MnM.
Well, Vitality, they at least take a draw for their troubles, but the way things are headed, we could be on the verge of a free pointer for Team Vitality. MnM, where do I kind of begin? I just think their communication has been very lackluster at times. You know, there's obvious things happening where they're not communicating at. I don't really know what Saves was doing earlier in the round inside of that dirt tunnel. There's a lot of ifs and buts that I don't really think works for MnM. They just need to kind of play back to their playstyle, which is try and hold these aggressive roamers. They have players who have that gun skill. You know, they have players like Doka who can potentially flex on to, you know, certain operators like Maestro, try and hold in towards the top of that catwalk. He can do a bang-up job, even stick him on his beloved dock. There's so many options here for MnM, but they're not really playing like themselves. I think they're trying to get back into that whole thing about actually disrupting Vitality, but they're doing a little bit too excessive. You know, they're bringing the Kaid whenever you could have just thrown down the bandit charges. Vitality are only bringing one hard breach, well, they were anyway. It's very hard to judge at this stage.
It's weird how it's been a bit different every single round, but let's see how they can set this round up. You've got Kendry just getting ready to yeet that camera back outside as soon as round starts. So imagine he'll play very much so the same sort of style as last time, where he plays out here off towards far away from the point itself. And then as the round goes by, slowly creeps his way back across the human bedroom, gets himself back towards point. But for now, it's pretty much drone duty, finding out where they're coming from, where the team needs to react. So I like that there's the attempt there at least to not so much fix the communication, but definitely improve it through the intel that he's providing.
Really looking to see if he can find something off a little cheeky wall bang, but doesn't find anything from it. And again, if he had managed to get that shot, top 5 clips of the week, maybe, possibly.
It would have been nice,
I think
but
so.
You're asking for a hero play there, very much so.
Oh, Kendry, nice camera outside on
Very
the
nice.
tree. I kind of like the Valkyrie camera. I like to do. If you want to try and gain intel to that entire balcony, also the garage, is if you jump out the window at the beginning of the round and throw a camera to your hard left and stick it right on top of the garage wall. I think that's a great camera to use as well. But hey, his personal choice, and also trying to get a little bit frisky with some of these attackers. Qual takes a bit of damage, but not a lot. That nitro cell does not land its target. That does let Vitality know that, hey, we're just trying to get a bit aggressive with you. We're trying to find the kills and stop you from doing what you do best, and that is control the matchup. Kendry maybe trying too hard as he is. He's put himself at very risky engagements here. He has an MPX. It's not the gun you want to try and challenge with because it does not do that much damage per second. Oh!
Whoa, no! Citizen, not now. F's in the chat, boys. Just hold down the F key. That's all I can say. That's a dire state of affairs to be in now as well, because you can see how the pinch is starting to come through from the side of Vitality. 2 operators on either side of this point. That means Citizen's position is very, very short-lived here if he chooses to hang around for too much longer. My opponent's not threatened there as well. Finds the head, but Bibu was waiting just over the edge there. Almost goes down himself, mind you, to about 23 HP. And immediately another one comes through as well into a 5 versus 2 fatality. This they can smell. Victory they can smell. Blood. Doki finds one outside, but he is one of the final 2 operators remaining. Once more's outside, but Nello's starting to get one back as well. Will these be the heroes that MnM need to keep the dream alive and bring in down fatality right now? They're trying to find their way up and back on towards site itself, but no plant has come through just yet. From the side of Vitality, things have kind of slowed down a little bit again, going into that normal playstyle we come to expect from them. They just don't want to get themselves caught out here by a renewed sense of purpose from these 2 players. Peeks outside, but already someone was waiting. That means there's one remaining left. It's going to be Nello knifing for some bizarre reason. Not with the gun out and ready. Sneaky walks around, and Vitality will take themselves another game against MnM. That's 2-0 across the season.
Possibly the worst showing I think I've seen from this roster so far. I don't really want to say that. Like, I never do. I always want to say the best showing. But in that scenario, just not strong. And even the Habana Elite animation, boy. How good was that?
It was pretty sexy, I won't lie. It was nice.
That was good.
But look, I don't want to flame the guy. I don't want to flame Nello, because again, he's still a good player. But there is a problem when your support player is your top fragger for your team. You need one of your fragging players to be at the top of that leaderboard, or at least to be there, up there with him, hitting those double-digit kills each game. And in this case, they just didn't have it. I don't know why they were so quiet today, but the usual suspects out of MnM were just not there to perform. And to be fair to Vitality as well, it wasn't just MnM having a poor day. Vitality did play that very, very well, very slow and methodical, just basically controlling the tempo of the whole game and playing it their way, not being forced to adapt to MnM pretty much barely at all.
Yeah, and especially for MnM, I really hope this doesn't tilt them going into their next matchup against Trust Gaming, because that's also another massive match between both of those, because that kind of extends the lead for either one of those to possibly try and take a playoff spot for themselves. But Vitality, of course, we know, flying high as always. And again, that's another big win for Vitality. That's a big opposition for themselves. That's the first place taking down the second place. And that does give Trust Gaming the potential flyby right into that second place. But of course, MnM Trust still to come. That can go either way, we know. For Vitality at this stage, I think they can start to not so much take it easy, but they can certainly slow things down. They don't need to show their entire hand. I think this is kind of solidify themselves at least for a playoff spot, if not just get outright first seed, because we know that there's other matches there that should be easily winnable for Vitality. Looking at that very slow start from MnM, I'm going to have to go back and, look at some of those plays that they did during those first 4 rounds, because they were all over the place. They really were. We've seen Doki switching off operators now and again. It was a big just pile of what's happening, what's going on kind of essence. I don't know where Citizen was today. They were really missing him. One of the best kills Citizen got was that C4 kill on Kendra, and that's saying something.
It's not a good spot to be, but it's like I said a few times, there's no big fragger stepping up. Doki and Citizen weren't present today. Sometimes Kendra, to be fair, Kendra did have a couple of really good rounds. And I've got to hand it to him. Nello, you did step up today, buddy. You really did try and put in a shift there. Getting 12 kills as a support main, definitely not a bad thing to, well, not a bad thing to not be proud of, I suppose I could say. Sadly, though, it doesn't get them the victory over Vitality today. Potentially, as long as MnM keep themselves in this top standing and don't find themselves slipping off in these last few weeks, we could see them in playoffs, which could very well mean that at some point, a rematch is on the cards. With how the last 2 have gone, though, it does feel like that chance is slowly slipping away from MnM, and that Vitality are starting to pull themselves to a greater level and potentially already starting to think about those Pro League dreams. That also qualification is the dream for them, no doubt.
Yep, so that will conclude our second match of this evening, but don't go anywhere, as we will be right back with our third match, Ghostgilla versus Pact.